beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Would you be my neighbor? Everybody, welcome to another edition of Power to the People. It is wonderful outside, and I think good weather has finally come to Western New York. But don't put up your sweater yet, because the forecast is. I mean, it's not bad. We're not gonna have a May storm, but other places already been on the beach, and we just getting there. We just about to get there, but hold on, let me share this. Got a lot to talk about today. A lot to talk about. Going to be opening up the phone lines in just a little while, and I left that number in the back, but I'll get it.
We're gonna on the screen too.
Oh, you're gonna put it on the screen.
Yeah.
When we open up the lines, because today in a few minutes we're gonna be. I'm gonna give you a little 101 on city budget. I am actually going to show you, and I might be able to show them on screen where to find the budget. And I want to have some discussion because, as you know, there has been a proposal, and I don't want to get too far into it because I want to give a 101. And then I want to have a balanced discussion about the budget. I am going to reserve any of my thoughts. Not any of them, but not take. I feel like this. When I was on the council, a lot of people had a lot to say. I want to hear what people have to say, and that's what the budget process is about. Yep, I don't want to get too far into it, but I'm going to be giving a quick 101 on city budget. We had some parents come up. What was that? I'm going to be giving a 101. And then I want to have a balanced discussion and really talk about in a few minutes what you would never want to see cut and what you feel should or could be cut from a budget. And this whole tax, I'm going to give you 101 on this whole raising the tax cap and what that means. Because I think education is power. And I know a lot of times those of us who have platforms can get on and drive in our point of how we want something to be. But I told you at this stage, and not that I will never, but I want to educate people. I want to teach people so they know how to participate, so they know where to look for things, so they know how to read certain things. Because I'm going to be honest, when I walked into the council, I was green to all of it, and there was, nowadays there's information right at our feet. But most of the time we get our information simply through social media and somebody's opinion. And then it's hard, once that opinion is out there, it's hard to educate. So I want to educate as I've done in the past. But I want to talk about a few other things first. Number one, just some national news. And all over the country and now in other countries, there are these student-led protests about the war in Gaza with Israel. And the majority of people, from what I'm seeing, who are protesting are pro-Palestinian, stop killing the Palestinians. And now you have this divide because you have Jewish students on campus who feel like, or who have stated that some of the pro-Hamas people are attacking them personally or verbally. And so we had a small one here at UB.
Yeah.
And I say small only because relatively, when you look across the country at these campuses, there are hundreds and hundreds of people. And Some feel that the UB police who went in shouldn't have gone in. UB has a policy,
You're right.
as every other college, and just because another area has decided to allow it doesn't mean that every area has.
Absolutely.
There have been. I want to be clear. You read the news, and that's why we got to be educated. There are more campuses in which there were rules and regulations that did not have the bigger protests.
Right.
And it's one thing to occupy outside the tent, but when they went in buildings,
Yes.
stopped education, boarded up windows,
Yes.
and really made it unsafe for themselves and others, then campuses moved in and police forces moved in. We can always, and I want you to realize this, no matter what you do, there will be somebody on the other end or some opinion. And that's okay.
Right,
That's
right.
America. Like, that's not a bad thing.
Yes.
So that we you have the opinion. And let me say this, I support these opinions of, I've said, and I said from the beginning, I support, I not only support innocent Israelis who were killed, I also support those who are killed not with Hamas, on the Palestinian side, who had nothing to do with this and who were living
Right.
their own lives.
Victims of location.
The victim. That's a very good. The victims of location. So I'm standing 10 toes down on that. It is my belief for peace. I always seek peace. That's just who I am. I don't go out looking for trouble. I don't jump into trouble. Trouble can come at me. I'm a man of peace. It's in my heart. And so I want to say that protest. And that's our American right.
Absolutely.
It's our American right. And I would not take it away from anybody. But in those protests, I think you still have to be careful that when we're talking about innocent folks,
Yes.
that innocent people who are on those campuses shouldn't be compromised or attacked because they might not have anything to do with it.
Right. If I'm just trying to get to math class,
Right.
and you barricading my classroom or my
Right.
hallway, or I think in the case of Columbia University, they got commencement coming up. So now you're barricading the happiest time of somebody's life.
Right.
They're trying to celebrate 4, 5, 6 years of accomplishment, and then now you kind of have upset the apple cart, and like you said, not saying you're wrong.
And I know that that's the purpose.
Right.
Yeah. That's the purpose. Upset the apple cart.
Yeah, but it's not that you're wrong. But hey, man, I'm just trying to walk across stage.
Right.
So, and then I think we talked about it last week when you're also in that. We got to determine who's a student, who's not student,
Absolutely.
who's coming to just instigate
Yep,
and
yep.
everything else like that.
Yeah, and so I support it. I'm going to tell you that right now. I support not only students but people being able to speak up for what it is that they believe in, and we are not a part of a communist society
Right.
where you can't talk about it. So we're going to be watching that. But this is what every day I wake up afraid when I turn on the news on these protests. And of course, the protests are going to end in a minute because the semester school
Yeah,
is about to
school's
be
good.
over on the
Everybody
college
get to go
campus.
home.
Everybody. I don't think it's going to be students staying back talking about we want to protest.
No.
And then the question is, what do you do when you get back home? That's the real question.
That's
Are you then going to write your federal representatives? Are you going to write the president's office? Are you
Absolutely.
going to show up in D.C.? It's one thing to get hyped up and to stand up, but then when you go home, it has to continue. And that reform.
Yes, sir.
Let me go to local news now. Wait. I think I have one more national news. Let me do Tesla. The Tesla plant in Buffalo, where we spent $1 billion, that they said they were going to have all of these thousands of jobs, is now beginning layoffs. And here is where I'm upset and afraid as a Tesla owner. This is my personal testimony.
Talk about it.
For those of you who don't understand the Tesla network, Tesla, for me to charge my car, and to get what's called a fast charger or supercharger. You see over behind Panera Bread across from the Walden Galleria, these big red chargers. Well, we kind of selfish on our chargers
absolutely.
because they charge our cars fast. And so even as you're traveling across the country, if you're in a Tesla, you're looking for a Tesla charger.
Yes.
Now, other things are coming online, but I charge for free.
Right.
If I go to a private, I got to pay.
Absolutely.
So you seek out a Tesla
Tesla
charger.
charger.
Well, folks, now the reason we were selfish is because only Teslas could charge there. Then the Tesla Corporation and Elon Musk makes a deal with the other car companies and say, you know what, we're going to let y'all start charging there. So that means now
I got to share my private charger.
I got to share. I got to share with a Ford. And I'm okay because
right.
all the union power, yay,
Yay.
buy a Ford. Here's the point. Here's the point. Now the lines are longer where there were no lines.
Right.
And if you're traveling, you might get to a Tesla charger now, and you got all kinds of cars
You got a
there.
Fiat sitting there.
You're right, exactly. Okay, that's a better one. You got a Fiat, right? Here's the problem. Now they are laying off the people who were making the superchargers, which means we won't have more superchargers coming out on the line as quickly as we thought.
Quickly.
So when you want to travel in a Tesla, the network is not going to be growing. And
right.
all of this talk about, and I'm all for moving, let me tell you, to sustainable energy, to getting rid of our carbon footprint or at least reducing it. But we got to be ready.
Yes.
And I've been saying this since I was on the council. Cities and states and the federal government especially, because it's the federal government pushing this agenda the most. At the end of the day, we got to be ready.
Absolutely.
Elon Musk got the South Buffalo plant.
Almost 800 million.
800 million. I'm just going to go to the billion.
Yeah.
I'm going to the billion. $1 billion, right? That to build this place, you're going to give all of these people jobs. And fact of the matter is, we've got other industries in this city that employ more than what the Tesla plant is employing.
Yeah.
And I want to take don't quote me, but I would think the hospital system is employing more people than this at the Tesla plant.
I completely agree. And I don't think Tesla ever hit the targeted employee number.
Let me gander. Let me give. Oh boy, let me open up another window because I want to be a little factual here. I'm going to look up Tesla and let's see. Let us look.
I was going to say, why are you looking? They did build a nice little display building across the street, though.
Yeah, who knows if that's going to be there? I don't care about a display building. I got one sitting out there now that I'm not going to be able to charge up. Shucks.
I thought it was getting ready to be a dealership, a repair building. No, just a place for you to go test drive.
Oh, are you serious? I thought it was like you can go in there and buy one.
No, I don't think you can buy. I think it's just a display and a test.
Oh, come on. What are we doing? What are we doing? Okay, Tesla cutting another 26 jobs at Buffalo plant after ending supercharger work. Now you understand why this is important. After ending supercharger work, Tesla plans to cut another 26 jobs at its Buffalo factory after the company decided earlier this week to disband its supercharging unit that had most of its production based at the South Park Avenue factory.
Yeah.
The latest job cuts, which are on top of 285 positions that were eliminated at the local plant in cutbacks announced last month, are only a modest part of the 500 jobs that Tesla is eliminating company-wide by disbanding the supercharging operation. So this is big.
Yeah, that's company-wide. That's not just the Buffalo operation. That's company-wide. So it sounds like they're not going to be building any more superchargers.
If they are, it's going to be what they call trickle effect because that's what we're getting at some of these chargers.
Absolutely.
Is a trickle effect. Tesla is cutting 311 positions in Buffalo, slightly more than 15% of its local workforce. The impact of Tesla's job cutting program, which aims to reduce the company's headcount by 10%, is more severe at the Buffalo plant than it is across the company. And this is so important, folks, that you know the facts. And the same way that I stood up for the U.S. Postal Service, I went to the meeting, I'm standing with the Tesla workers.
Yes.
Now, I'm standing 10 toes down with the Tesla workers because you cannot, and the government, New York State, they must hold Tesla accountable.
Absolutely.
Now, I want to be clear because, you know, we like to say this, the city government ought to be holding. No. This is state money.
Absolutely. Sure was.
This is state money. And at the end of the day, I am sure that the governor, and I'm almost positive, is not going to let Tesla just start closing up shop and we get stuck with it because they'll start getting fined in a minute.
Yes.
They'll start getting. Oh, by the way, speaking of I jump around. Congratulations to Congressman-elect Tim Kennedy in his overwhelming win the other day.
Yep.
I can't let that go. But back to Tesla. So we spend all of this money and with this dream that there's going to be this super factory that's going to employ thousands and thousands of Western New Yorkers in an industry that is forever changing.
Yes.
In an industry that is forever changing. Yes, Tesla was on top.
Yes, it was.
But there are other models coming out.
In every industry they got.
In every industry they have. And so at the end of the day, and I've said it over and over, and I want to be clear, it is not the present administration of the state of New York. This is the previous administration. But at the end of the day, it's there.
Yep.
But Tesla needs to be held accountable.
Fully accountable.
So that, because I'm telling you, if the workers at Tesla ask me my opinion, we should, because there's a lot of people at that plant who left other jobs with the promise of a higher paying salary.
Yes, they did.
And it's up to Tesla to figure this out.
Yeah, some went and got additional schooling. We don't know what they had to pay for to even get in the door. So yeah, it's to sell me up on maybe a 1-2 year dream. It's not passing the test for me. I think New York State, like you said, it may be the same previous administration, but the New York State government keeps going on, and there has to be some level of accountability.
There has to be, because what are we going to do with that big plan over there, and how will we ever recoup the $800 million, the $1 billion?
Right.
And it was not really supposed to be where we could recoup it. It was supposed to grow an industry.
Yes.
And the thought was that you bring Tesla, and then there's going to be all of these other companies that are doing sustainable energy and that are doing that. They're going to come. And I just want to tell you this: that ain't happened.
Nope.
The only thing sitting over there is a Tim Horton and a Tesla plant.
Yes.
And what you call a display.
A display building.
A display building. What in the heebie-jeebies? And at 12:30 we're gonna start talking about city budget. What in the heebie-jeebies is going on? Local news: Buffalo Public Schools to lay off. Let me see. Let me be accurate. That's budget. Buffalo Public Schools to lay off about 30 people. The interesting thing about this, let me go to my favorites and pull it up, is that the school board actually complimented the superintendent.
Wow.
Yeah. For the steps and how she's taking them.
Good.
Now that means, now folks, the reason I want to frame this is because cities and school boards all over the country are grappling with this.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of this, now Buffalo School Board was flush with cash.
Yes.
Some of it was from the COVID money. I'll put it real plain so that people understand. The money we got from the federal government for COVID. The Buffalo schools used their money because they had to use it.
Yes.
not by mandate, they had to use it by a certain time, but to try to get as many students up to speed as humanly
Yes, they did.
possible.
Yes.
Now that money is gone. The city's contribution is very small.
Very.
The state. This is a school district dependent on the state of New York.
One of the big five.
One of what's called the Big Five, and so without the state of New York, it cannot operate. So now it is laying off. So one of the things that the board is doing is bringing back, I mean, some of the teachers who were outside of the classroom are going back to the classroom. Some of the coaches that all they were doing was coaching is going back. Now, for a non-sports person, I go, okay. For a sports person who their student is dependent on sports, and I wouldn't say to go to college, but to get scholarships.
Okay.
So we got to think about this competitive edge, right? It's different. It's different. That cut hits different. So let me just say this, because I've been an elected official. I've been an elected official on the school board,
Right.
and I've been an elected official on the Common Council. It's not easy.
No.
And that's why now I'm not going to sit as a Monday morning quarterback on these two bodies and go, well, they should have did this and they should have did that.
Right.
Because I know how hard it is when you only have so much money and you're not printing money.
Right.
DC can help Israel, they can help Ukraine, and they ain't got to worry about it. They just raise the ceiling.
Yes, they do.
And we just owe more to who knows who we owe. I don't even know where right. It's so crazy. It's like they going in the back and they got a printer and they like $1 billion for Ukraine,
Yep.
$1 billion for this, right? So at the end of the day, school boards. And I know Tim Kennedy, like, I'm so glad I never was down at the level. He was at the county level, right? He was a county level, right?
First.
But he ain't have to never do city. He have to. So now when you get to the county, most people don't even talk about the county. I mean, the Congress.
No.
Most people here locally, they don't go and protest in front of the
no idea.
U.S. The federal building. They will come. I've seen
Niagara
it with
Square.
my own eyes. They will come to Niagara Square
Steps of City
for
Hall.
a problem that is a federal problem, and at the steps of City Hall, protest something that deals with the federal government. Tim, I know Tim on that plane going, hallelujah.
I'll deal with Marjorie.
I'll deal with Marjorie any day. Bring your furs on in the summer. But I'd rather deal with you. Folks, we got to. I'm trying to educate. Buffalo. Let me see. I'm trying to look up this article. Public. I had all of my little bookmarks. Don't know where. Not that they went away. It's just when you're older. Just when you're older. Medaille campus sold to. I missed this.
Oh,
42 minutes ago. Breaking news.
wow.
The campus of Medaille was sold to charter school developer to become Buff Psi.
Wow, they did find the money.
Wow. Buffalo Academy of Science charter schools plan to occupy the former campus of Medaille University has come to fruition after a 7-month process that will help Medaille's representatives recover some of its $41 million in debt. I got to go to this article. This is breaking news, folks. It's just come out 42 minutes ago. I don't know if they're going to have anything here about the deal. It is a proud and exciting day. The purchase price, dang.
My heart already skipped a beat.
What do you think they purchased that entire campus for?
$55 million.
Nope. The purchase price was 9.9.
That's it?
I'm mad right now.
That can't be it.
According to Buff Psi's spokesperson, Buff Psi's partnership with the National Charter School Growth Fund will provide 2.5 toward renovating the campus. You telling me Buff Psi Charter School got this building for $10 million? I ain't mad at them.
I ain't mad either.
Renovations are slated to begin Monday.
Oh, so they.
Oh, this is real.
Oh, so this has really been in the done. They just announced. So the paperwork must have just got signed so they can announce it.
Yeah. The sale ends a 7-month process in which Medaille representatives aim to sell assets to cover some of the $41 million in bond and lease obligations that remain after the university closed. At a hearing last winter with the Buffalo School Board, BuffSci Executive Director Joseph Pollack said he intended to move at least the high school to the vacant North Buffalo campus, the high-performing tuition-free charter school, blah, blah, blah. BuffSci boasts an excellent graduation rate of 93% or higher for the last 4 years. Wow. So congratulations to them. Medaille University enrolled about 1,800 students in 2019 before dipping to 1,200. Blah, blah, blah. The sale should help those representing the former Medaille University to chip away at the debt, but recent news offers little consolation. Wow, $10 million.
$10 million.
I'm mad right about now. I ain't mad at them. It's a great deal because you have a huge academic campus, the academic offices, the gymnasium.
We'll talk in the commercial break.
Yes. This is personal. Gotta take this personal. All right. Well, I'm gonna get ready to pay these bills in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
When it comes to something as personal as your clothes, you need to deal with somebody you can trust. That's why so many people turn to Hobson's Dry Cleaning, conveniently located in the heart of the community at 874 East Delavan at the corner of Wyoming.
When you take your clothes to Hobson's, you can trust that they'll be ready on time.
You can trust that your whites will be white.
You can trust that you'll always get a fair price and service with a smile.
You can even trust that you won't have to get out of your car if you don't want to. Hobson's has a drive-through window for your convenience.
Trust is what it's all about at Hobson's Dry Cleaning.
Hobson's Dry Cleaning, your one-stop dry cleaners serving the community for over 30 years at 874 East Delavan at the corner of Wyoming. Call 891-8298. That's 891-8298.
Brian K. Lewis Funeral Home has 3 locations to serve you in Buffalo. 347 Peckham, 2258 Bailey Avenue, and Providence Memorial Chapel at 1275 Sycamore. Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes offers traditional services, and they have services for all faiths. And at Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes, they have air-conditioned parlors and chapels. Financing is available, as is limousine service. At those difficult moments in your life, Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes is available where you are with counseling services. Call toll-free 877-885-7734. That's 877-885-7734. Or locally 845-5545. Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes. We are here to serve you, here to serve this present age. Call today, toll-free 877-885-7734. Or email info@brianklewisfuneralhome.com.
Yeah. Okay. Let's me move on.
Jesus.
City budget. Oh, wow. People, I'm sorry, Facebook. I missed you. Congratulations to Kennedy from Jenny Hope. Katrina says, not surprised. I wonder what she's talking about. Probably talking about the sale.
Yep.
Yeah, $9.9 million. There are some points in life you just kick yourself and go.
My God.
Yeah, okay. We'll see what they do with it, see if they parcel it out. But that's interesting. Let's go to the city budget. 2024-25 city budget. Mayor Brown has proposed this budget, which would increase taxes on a home assessed at $100,000 by $78 and increase garbage collection fees by another $30 per homeowner. Now, the increase, I want to be clear. The mayor proposes a budget. I want you all to hear me. Mm-hmm. So this is the process. He proposes it to the Common Council.
Right.
A few days ago, last Tuesday, so there's a cap of how high you can go on the city budget. And I'll get more specific in a minute, but I really want to hear your opinion. But I want to give a brief 4-minute, and then we can put up the phone number now on social media, and by that time it'll come up. Our phone number here, if we can put that up. Brief 101. So the state says to municipalities, you can't raise your taxes above this percentage.
It's normally like 2%.
2 something percent. The municipality can vote to raise it above the state tax cap.
Mm-hmm.
What happened here Tuesday is the Common Council voted basically by request of the administration to raise the property tax cap higher than what is allowed by state law. Everybody with me? And that is allowable, and other municipalities have done that.
Yes.
Because the Common Council gave it a level, it doesn't mean you have to go to that level. It gave wiggle room. So I want to use real understandable phrases to understand how this happens. So here's the wiggle room. I'm going to go into specifics, and then I want to hear from you about what services you think, and you could tell me on social media, if you were in the seat of power, and you are because you're a citizen, what is it that you say, these things can be cut, these things have to stay, or these are places we can bring in more revenue? Because the budget is just like your own personal home budget.
Right.
If you bring it in $1,000 a week, but your expenses for the next month are going to go up, what do? Do you, I'll tell you right now, I get a pension. My pension is nowhere near what I was making as a council member. So I had to make some personal adjustments to continue to live. I had to make some personal adjustments. So the budget is sent by May 1st to the Common Council. Mm-hmm. The Common Council then goes into deliberations, which they're in right now, and you can watch them live on Facebook. They go into the deliberations right now. They're talking to department heads. It ain't gonna be a whole lot of conversation right now. Trust me. Everybody's just getting the book. You don't have time to analyze it, but it's the first step. Then they will go into what's called workshops, in which they'll dig deeper. Yes. And, I'm just going to say like this. Department heads usually don't come in. I only saw 1 or 2 and say, I think you should cut my department. Nobody's coming in and do that. Let me just tell you that.
Right.
Let's just be real.
Yep.
If you got employees and you're a department head, you're not coming to the Common Council and saying, hey, I can lose 4 jobs. You're going to justify, and it's just how it is in any business. You're going to justify why you need this many employees.
Yep.
Then the Common Council starts negotiating, and usually we would start negotiating even while we're in talks.
Yes.
We don't wait until the end. And then there's going to be, there'll be a budget hearing. I think that's the 15th.
The public hearing.
Public hearing where you can go and you can sign up in advance. And I definitely suggest you sign up in advance. And you can, it's online. I'm going to be reading a bit of the article, but I really want to hear from you. I really do. And that number, what's the number, Mark? I can't see over there.
541-0866. That is 716-541-0866.
So I want to hear from you. What would you cut? What would you keep? So now the budget is before the Common Council and before the people. I looked hard to find it. Where did you find the budget? If you go to where?
So I had to find it via going to the new city website, which I will hold my comment. But then you got to go find the Common Council agenda.
Okay, Common Council. It's under Common Council?
Well, that's the only place I saw the actual budget book item.
Okay, Common Council, and then under. Okay, I'm going to try this. You know the link?
No, I don't.
Yeah, and we're having a ballot. We having a. I want to educate the people.
Yes,
I want to be clear. I want to educate them first, and then we can dig.
I heard you.
Right. So because sometimes we throw out our opinion, and they don't know how to participate.
Yep.
So I want them to know how to participate. So Mark, from the government page. I'm on the government page, and I don't want to waste too much time. Did you find out? Because I sent you.
I just asked them to send me the link.
Okay, so if I go, I'm going to talk, and maybe somebody else can find the budget. Okay, so it goes from, so now we are at the point of When is the 15th?
It is the
Council
15th,
member.
5 o'clock.
We've just been joined by Councilman White. It's the 15th at 5 o'clock. So you can go on Facebook at Buffalo Common Council, right? It's Buffalo Common Council. You look that up. Go to the Facebook. You can sign up. You can call the clerk's office, and you can be heard, right?
yes.
So right now you all are in negotiations. I was honest. You usually not going to get much from a department head in the beginning, or even council members, because you really don't know the budget, right? So right now before us is, because I'm going to give a citizen's opinion of what I might cut, but it's so hard. It's so easy at the end of the day. So what will you chime in for me? Give me the phone number one. Let me see, make sure our phone line's working.
It's 716-541-0866. 716-541-0866.
Somebody just I got a text saying you missed roll call this morning. I heard my name was called out in the roll call by mistake. As
was it really?
President? When they call the names out, they say President Pritchard. And so yeah, I missed the roll call. Shucks, I got so many texts coming in. Rob Lowry just sent the Madai campus. Stop it! You making me so upset. You're making me so upset.
Yeah.
So, what would you cut? What would you? I'm trying to. Let me try to call the number. Because I see it. We just checking to make sure we can get a call. What would you cut? 1716. What's the number?
541 0866.
0866. If you could cut, let me see, because our computers, no, we're working. If you could cut, what would you cut and what would you keep the same? Now, what are you hearing, council member, from your constituents of where to cut or where to add?
They're not even talking about where to cut. I mean, they're just angry that they're looking at this tax increase and they're like, what are we getting for it? It's been a lot of fluff about what we're getting, or we're going to give you more quality services. Well, we just want service.
Right. What is it that? So they're not saying specific. No. So this is the conversation I really want to have today, and then you and I can have another conversation. But I want to know specifically, because when I sat in that seat, it was very difficult because you had a group. You had one side saying cut police.
Yes.
But I had my constituents
saying we want more police presence.
Saying we don't have enough police on the street. So what are the big areas that we talk about cutting? And you got public works.
Public works. Yep.
So public works, folks, for those of you who are out there, public works is basically our streets and sidewalks, and they take care of all that. You have some that say, well, let me tell you this. I've never heard anybody say cut public works.
No.
No.
I always hear we want more streets paved. We want more sidewalks. We want those type of things to occur. I have never, that I remember, had a constituent say we want less.
Yeah, you're spending too much on my trash, my
Right.
sidewalks and everything. Paving, no.
I haven't heard anybody say that. Let's go to the fees. Okay, let's go to the fees, because the fees are going up, and I'm going to be honest with you. I don't really have no problem with the fees going up. I got somebody right now in my area
Right.
that the garbage is still outside, that they didn't put it in bags for the pickup on Wednesday,
Right.
and it's overflowing, and the garbage is not being picked up because it's garbage overflowing
Right.
on it. Somebody ought to be fined. Caller, can you hear me? Oh, no, you can't. Hold on, caller. Caller, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hi, talk to us.
This is Mother Doyle.
Talk to us.
Yes, Bishop, I would like to see that the inspection department is stronger.
Okay.
That we have more inspectors. We have so many empty buildings where people are staying in these buildings, committing crimes. And so I really feel like we should have more inspections. So because it's causing a real problem. So I'm hoping they add more inspectors. That's what I would like to see.
All
as a
right.
homeowners. Thank you, Bishop.
Thank you, because that's quality of life issues. I want people to know, is that me? Is that you can go through, you can have more inspectors, you got to get them through the court process. And there may have to be, and you can't do, some of this is tied into state law, and that's why we have the Housing Task Force. And Councilmember Wyatt, you just put forth a resolution on basically LLCs. And folks, if you don't understand LLCs, that's basically a company that you don't know who owns it.
Right.
And they can hide behind what's called a corporate veil. So now they own property, and you go to find them, and now they are P.O. Box.
Right.
So the proposal that came from the Housing Task Force that we put together says that needs to be exposed. Now, whether that would make it in court, all of that, we don't know. But at least let's start that movement, because it is affecting our community. So what you're hearing, again, so this is the inspection department doesn't come out of Public Works, right? So, but you're hearing, at least from Mother Doyle, is a quality of life issue. All right. Katrina says, be it services, more quality or not, the price or cost has still went up across the board. Do we want to cut park development or those projects in South Buffalo? Because what else do you have to cut? Where is the revenue banger here? Why isn't the city receiving a greater portion of the county tax revenue? Well, that's a question. And I mean, at the end of the day, you either got to increase revenue, and I'm only today, and me and you can get in a different. But I don't want to stand. I want to stand on education today. Where is that conversation? Where is that? And this is why I want people to understand the difference between county government, city government, state government, and federal government. This city does depend in some ways on state funding.
Yes.
And it depends on county funding.
Yep.
And that's her question. Let me answer the caller. Caller, you're on the air.
Hello. I'd like to put another conversation on the table. You're talking about revenue. The one thing the city of Buffalo doesn't have that I'm aware of is a commuter tax. We have all of these suburban residents, and they don't pay any money to use our services, our streets, our police, the snow removal. Okay, they come and they party during the summertime. They come for the festivals. Where is that commuter tax and that extra money from that revenue that we're not collecting? And the garbage fee is already ridiculous, so they need to just go somewhere with that.
All right,
I can't keep up with it now.
Thank you, caller. Now that's interesting, and it would probably have to be a state tax. So I love these questions. I love educating people because, as she said, and let me just tell you this, I'm not totally against it. Because at the end of the day, but it would have to be, caller, because the road that you come in on is a state road.
State roads.
33 is not a city road. That's why you don't see the city plowing it, the city doing that.
Right.
So it would have to be the state that would set it up. But when you go into New York City, you paying tolls out of the eye socket. I went to New York City. Every tunnel I came out of,
yes, you do.
everything you. So I'm not against that.
I think it on the other side. So I know. I'm trying to think. Did I have it in Delaware? But I know, like sometimes if you work in Philadelphia, and don't live in the city of Philadelphia, your paycheck gets hit with a city tax.
You know what?
From working in that city, even though you don't live there.
So the only thing I wouldn't want to see with something like that is I'm a city resident, and I come into my own city and I got to pay.
Yeah, and I don't know how that worked because I never actually lived in the city limits of Philadelphia, so I don't know how it worked if you were an actual resident. But
she raised something I think that is really interesting because we've talked about this before. So there's just so that you. Like I said, today is just education. I just wanted to educate for a minute. So on that argument of people, for instance, using Shays Buffalo, right? They pay a fee, they come in, but we have to provide services as far as, the traffic, all the police services, right? The other side of the argument that is argued from the other side of non-residents is we're bringing revenue into your city, and we're eating at your restaurants. You ain't shopping downtown. You ain't buying no clothes. Nothing. We're eating at your restaurants. We're staying in your hotels, and you're benefiting by the taxes. But remember, the taxes go to the county.
Right. If we're not getting the fair
we
share of sales tax,
so,
then
so all I'm doing is educating. Now, so I don't want to be arguing with the county and all that. That's not what my purpose. I want people to see how this money is sliced up, because usually our shows are just on what this is bad, this is good, and then the people are not educated enough to then be able to say, we need a bigger slice of the county, or we don't, or whatever it is.
And I will say, in the state of the city, the mayor did clarify that he wanted to increase the portion from the county sales tax, but it wasn't on the county government to do it. That's another state law that has to be passed in order to do that.
Come on, folks. You got city government, and I ain't saying they the lowest rung on the ladder, but in these ladders, it is. Because you go from city, I'm not going to say county is a little off to the side. So city, let's say city, county is in that line, though, because they're representing a greater swath of land.
Right.
Then state, then the federal government.
Yes.
So you got to be active in all of these, or else you will think your city government is the end all and be all.
Yes.
And right now, where the fight is going to be in this budget, everybody's going to look at the city government, as they always do, but some people missed the first part. Let me tell you where they missed. The fight of the state government.
Their state budget, yes.
So you can even get mad at the Board of Education, because that's what we talked about. And again, folks, I got a horse in the race as a taxpayer at this point in my life. But right now, I got a burden to teach people. You could say, school board ain't used their money right. Well, if the school board gets no more money, now hold on. I know what you're going to say. There's declining enrollment. Got it.
Right.
You adjust. However, just because there's declining enrollment, and I know I'm talking about two different budgets, doesn't mean there's not a need for the money for the students that are there.
Right.
Because what are you going to do? Reduce the services?
Yeah.
For students that are there? I'm all for charter schools. Let me tell you this. I'm not for how this funding is split up.
I agree.
And I've said that from day number one. I do believe that look at Buff Side, who just bought my land for $9.9 million.
Who? What?
Buff Side just bought Madai for $9.9 million.
The charter school?
Yeah.
The charter school, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
The charter school.
The whole campus.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Is it clean?
The church is in mourning.
Somebody get the black drapes.
The church is in mourning. So at the end of the day, we do pay for services. And here's the argument that I heard from city residents when I was on. The argument was, why am I paying for extra police for this, that, and the other? Now, some venues do have to help pay,
right,
but it doesn't meet what the cost is.
No.
So somewhere here, and I'm sure Buffalo Niagara Partnership or somebody has some analysis, but theirs is going to be skewed toward the business.
Of course.
But you have to be able to see, does this rise in utilizing our police force, our sanitation? That, for instance, you have a big parade, we have to use our sanitation, but they have to pay. But I don't believe, from what I remember, that it covers the entire cost. But then there will be that argument.
Absolutely not.
That here, I'm coming into your city, I'm spending money at your stores, so you're benefiting, and your businesses are benefiting. I think you all have a tough road, and the hearing, again, is the 15th. And I wanted, and I thank you. I know you got a lot to say, but I thank you for respecting the direction I wanted to go in today, because I want people to know. And then I don't believe in rubber stamp government. As you know, I do not believe in rubber stamp government. I ran a common council that was independent. I ran a common council that I feel, I read a comment today that said, well, the common councils, something like, wouldn't allow for there to be the tax to be raised. We wouldn't allow it to be raised at a certain point. And that's period.
Right.
And that statement, by the way, is accurate and true. When I was the common council president, and I'm not, and let me just say this, I ain't throwing off on nobody. That is a fact. That's not fake news. That we held that line. At this point, I'm praying for all of those in position of power. And I pray for them because I've sat there.
Yes.
And it's easy to criticize, but that's why I ask people, well, what would you do? If you had the opportunity to cut, and you see it's been like kind of radio side, just a couple. But because one lady said, hey, the garbage is too high already. So that's going to change regardless of whether you're in a house that's valued at 150 or 300. Question might even be, should that be on a different scale? Should that, if I own a $1 million house over by Delaware Park, should I be paying the same thing? Now, it's the same amount of garbage.
I was getting ready to say
it's the same service,
and that's why you pay. That's why you pay by totes or tote size or this, that, and the other, not necessarily by the property size.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm still paying for 2 totes, and the man stole my tote. The man stole my tote.
Still got your tote.
Y'all still ain't. Would you?
We'll get you one.
No, I don't want one.
Okay.
I don't want. When I got my house, they had 2 of everything. I don't need that. What you about to say?
But Bishop, this is the thing. We're having this conversation now, but we should have had this conversation beforehand. And this is always what it's been. We talk about transparency in government. Well, there's really no transparency in government. Just like I said, regarding the whole increase in the levy, there was no conversation in that. Right. And
I said we can get in that on another day. I want to spend educating these people.
But I'm just saying the things that we're talking about right now should have been a conversation that we could have had with the public about what they would like and how we can do it, and just give them the truth. Because right now, as I said, during one of the hearings, a lot of the revenues that they're talking about are speculative. They're not.
So let's talk about, because you're gonna dig in, and I already know where you're going, sir. And at this, you're my brother. But at the end of the day, I'm trying to educate the people, and then we can take a stand. You and I can go down to the station and we can take a stand. And I'm just being transparent. There's certain people I know I don't want. At the end of the day, I want the people to know so that they can get involved in the public hearings. They can understand the difference between state and federal and government, and I'm not shying away from it, because I take a stand and where I need to take a stand. And once I do look at the book as a citizen, I will make some suggestions to my council member and to the council. I have no problem with that, and I'm not going to start being silent now. But I wanted to take this show not to stand on those kind of.
I just want to respond to what Mother Doyle had mentioned, because we have taken a stand saying we want to see more inspectors. We want to see more proactive inspectors.
Good.
That's a stand that, hey, it's what residents have asked for. We know that a lot of our folks are living in shabby housing. Why? Because we're not inspecting and holding these own landlords accountable. So we're good with that.
Let me go right to the phone, and then I got to go because I'm at my last couple minutes. Caller?
It's not just the landlords. There's no help for us to fix these houses. A lot of people can't afford it.
Right, and now that's not I'm just teaching. It's not a function of city government. Like, they don't have the money to fix it.
Has been knocking down our houses. Look at our neighborhoods. We live in a war zone.
Yep.
And what about the bridge? Nobody talks about that anymore. We're at an international border, and we can't seem to get a bridge together.
Right, and again, caller, I appreciate you. Let me just say this, because I got to educate. The bridge is not a city function.
It's federal government.
That is the federal, and I agree with you, caller. I agree. But that's why I try to educate, because then they'll say, well, the city, why don't they have the bridge, and why don't they give us money? When the city gives money out in grants to fix your houses, it comes from the state or the federal government.
Yep.
So I'm trying to help y'all. You got Tim Kennedy in the federal government. These are the conversations, but if you don't know better, you can't do better. Listen, I got to throw it back over to the station. Station, I'm going to let you pay the bills because we're having computer problems. Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes, thank you for serving breakfast at our 48 hours of prayer. And Hobson's, the doctor of dry cleaning. I'm sending it back over to the station for the station to pay the bills.